Okay, so let's talk about step 6, the total comfort diagnosis. Total comfort diagnosis is a specific process that we have that allows you on your iPad to go through and check everything that's not only broken today, but also evaluate what could break in the future. Allows you to not only find out why something went wrong, but also educate Mrs. Jones on how it went wrong. Now, let me ask you this. Does a total comfort diagnosis typically take time if you're actually slowing down to do this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking a substantial investment of time to do this. And it's different than the enchantment portion because you're not there in front of the customer. There's no personality element to this. This is literally just slogging through a chapter and verse of what it takes to evaluate the whole system. So why do we do it then? Somebody give me some thoughts as to why we actually go through a full total comfort diagnosis.
Because they don't know what you're doing, and when you come back and show it, it's like, oh, you did all this.
Okay, so it validates our disappearance, it validates what we're doing, and suddenly they're saying, oh, okay, you didn't just disappear, you've actually checked this, check this, check this, have an answer for this, etc. Anything else?
Well, there's a number of different factors that could cause it to break, not just whatever they're suggesting, so we've got to check out all the different parts.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. What's often we're dealing with is Mrs. Jones. Mrs. Jones comes in, she signs off on a ticket when it's all said and done with, and then we disappear. The husband, Mr. Jones, comes back, and all he sees is what? A price. And he's saying, what happened? How come you had a simple break and it's costing us X? You have to have validation that shuts down the conversation. And it used to be when we do it on ink and paper, we'd say that ink equals money, ink equals value because it shows that you went through a process. And not only that, it shows that you were a professional that went through a process. You have an X point inspection, you go into a Meineke, you go into a muffler shop, whatever. They'll say, hey, we went through a 23-point inspection, a 17-point inspection. What gives you certainty and security is that there is a process that they're following to make sure that anything that you touch is evaluated so that it doesn't break in the future. So there's security in that and certainty in knowing that you're going through that exact same process every single time. That's invaluable. Because when we're talking about consistency, if John comes one day and he doesn't have a system that he's following, and Mike comes the next time and he doesn't have a system, who knows what I'm getting? This lets them know we've got a strategy for making sure comfort, efficiency, reliability, and safety and what's broken today are assessed when we're in your home. So secondarily, let's talk about what could break in the future. Anybody ever been on a job and you touched just the coil or you touched just the condenser? 2 weeks later, something on the air handler goes out. Yes. Whose fault do they think that is?
Ours.
Always unequivocally yours. You were out here last, you touched it, you broke it. I didn't even touch that. You have to have, one, an option of looking at that air handler before it breaks down, and since you're already in the house, you knew it was about to break down, and since you predict, Mrs. Jones, it's about to go, they go ahead and do that job with you today so you keep it from breaking down. So by doing a total comfort diagnosis, you're preempting that call after the fact. Secondarily, you're showing them, you should be finding any things that could be happening. But even if you're not, you've got a list there of everything that you touched and what you went through. And if they disallowed you to work on something, you're working on one system and it's the other system that goes down. That's their choice to not do something, not yours that you overlooked it. At that point, it's a he said, she said scenario, and we always lose that with the customer. We have to have documentation that shows, no, we went through a full process. We educated you that that blower motor was about to go out and you told us that you didn't want to fix it. That gives us certainty, not just the customer, but us certainty. So let me ask you guys this. Are we in a seasonal business?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much.
100%. Seasonal business. One of the toughest things for all of us is that we blow and go during the summer or the winter, and then we're looking for jobs, looking for work, hoping that we get hours during those spring and fall seasons. A total comfort diagnosis done well allows us not just to find what's broken, but what could break and what they want to invest into in the future. And a lot of the times, they don't have the time, money, effort, or energy to invest into it now. So what this does is it gives us job security to call Mrs. Jones back out when the spring is here. And we don't have any other jobs. Mrs. Jones, when we were last out there, you talked about really wanting a new Wi-Fi thermostat, but you didn't have the time and the money to put it in at the time. Listen, let's just be honest, we're not really busy right now. We've got a special, a deal on thermostats. I'd love to set up a time, if it still makes sense for you, to get out there and help you get that Wi-Fi thermostat that you really wanted. Or Mrs. Jones, we talked about that motor going out. Again, it hasn't been summer yet, but summer's around the corner. Let's go ahead and get that motor looked at and fixed. This is not only valuable for Mrs. Jones today and valuable for us today because it covers our rear end, but it's valuable for us in the future because it creates opportunity that we wouldn't have otherwise have. We're able to actually go and connect with a customer who likes us about something that they already want and set that up during a spring or a fall situation, as opposed to try to hope that some customer calls us waiting by the phone with a brand new relationship, hoping that they really invest into the whole process with us. Total comfort diagnosis is extremely important. And as the name says, it needs to be total. And it needs to be a diagnosis. You can really catch a lot of heat after the fact if you're not doing this and not doing it well.